Oh, goodness. Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the Birth and Hut podcast. We are back this month and we do have a special guest with us.
Hello.
Yes, and I'm Ayana and I am a doula and I am with Ayana B. Doula Services and this is Lovely Man.
Jessica, and I am a nerd.
Yes, and last month was our premiere of our first show of the Birth and Hut podcast, and it went great. It was lovely. We did review some great sisters that were historical figures and affected women's health in a great way. Miss Sarah Hartman, Henrietta Lacks, and we just went over women's health overall, maternity health, and just understanding your body and wound care. So this month's topic, we are going to be talking about the creation of a safe space for women. We need that feminine space. We need that place where we can be ourselves, especially in the Black community. And who else to have discussed that topic with me, Jessica today?
Exactly. Chanel.
Yes. Yes. So, Chanel, go ahead and tell us, who are you?
My name is Chanel. You all may know me as Adisa Allah, but close friends and family know me as Chanel. Who is Chanel? I was a mother first. A mental health advocate, I can say. That's my number one thing. I'm a teacher, a student of life, and one of my other many titles is certified life coach.
Yes. Tell us about that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I just got my certification maybe about a month ago. So I'm still fairly new, and I am in the process of building my program. It's going to be a 90-day program. And I want to say the women that I'm really looking for are women that are interested in making mental wellness their number one priority, as well as bringing spirituality into the forefront of their life, because everything, to me, mind, body, and soul, that all connects. And I'm a very spiritual person, and that's just something that I'm passionate about. So that's something that I will be merging together, and those are the ladies that I'll be looking for. What's my question?
Oh, that sounds beautiful. Now, tell us about your timeline. What is your timeline of community activism?
I would say I like the hood. Well, when I met you back in 2017,
Power of Melanin. Way back.
Power of Melanin. It was mainly about circulating the Black dollar. You know, building a platform for Black entrepreneurs and bringing, notice to them, as well as the hidden knowledge that has been, stolen from us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's where it all began, but then it slowly began to merge to women empowerment, which that's where I'm at now. And that is more so, I'm just trying to help my ladies just heal.
So what caused you to get from the circulation of the Black dollar to women empowerment? Because that's a drastic transaction.
It is.
And you was doing some great work with the circulation of Black dollar. You was bringing knowledge to them events, sis.
I know. It's not going to stop, but it's just what I want to do with that is so much bigger. Once I get the money that I do want, it's on. It is on. So that will never die. Absolutely not. And shout out to the people that are doing what they're doing now, as far as providing that platform for, the entrepreneurs and things like that. But the shift, I would have to say, is 2017 or was it say I had a mental breakdown. I had a traumatic experience that happened within the family, and it just took me on a mind trip, you know. And it took me all. I want to say I just started like about the end of 2017. Took me all the way to 2018, you know, to actually get to the root of it. Mm-hmm. As far as like, you know, getting into the yoga, the crystals, the meditation, you know, the sacred baths and things like that. And then I learned that just speaking from some other women, mm-hmm. like such as because I did do the woman empowerment with Chiquela, did do that, but it was just a little bit different. I was saying that one was totally different, but what was that? Anyway, just like that.
Your transition.
Oh, okay.
And first family.
Oh yes, so with that traumatic experience, it took me on a mind trip, and it was just more so like I know I can't be alone on this. Between the anxiety and depression, I was seeing a therapist. We had a great relationship, but then you know that's a whole nother story. That was a traumatic story itself. With
the therapist. Okay, we'll get into that. Girl, she said that was another topic.
Yeah, that's okay. A whole nother, and I would hate to even put her on blast on social media, right? Okay. So we just gonna leave that out. But the traumatic experience, like with my son, I might as well just go ahead and share because this is my story. Yeah, right. Like so my son, you know, was molested by his cousin on his dad's side, which you know it took me back to a space because that happened to me. Never told nobody. And it's like, this is a generational curse. That's when I figured out, like, this is a generational curse. I never healed from this. I never spoke about this. So I passed this trauma onto my son. You get what I'm saying? So that's where that began to change for me because it's like, I got to tell my story. There have to be other women out here that are going through this. Right. That's when I came up with Woman to Woman, where it's just a safe haven for women to come together, you know, speak on different topics and things such as abuse, whether it's verbal abuse, mental abuse, sexual abuse, whether you're battling with mental health issues like myself, like anxiety and depression. It's all about personal development and just becoming the best version of ourselves because that's the journey that I'm on. And I'm going to continue to share my knowledge with the other women because I honestly believe that if you heal a woman, we can heal a nation. Seriously. Because as you all know, you know, when we lay down with these men, we are absorbing exactly what they are giving off. Yeah, right. So if our woman can get into that space to where we can heal ourselves, not only mentally, physically, and spiritually, can you imagine what we could do for these men? We can heal our men, and it's just going to be great. Great, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's beautiful. I love that. Thank you. So, talk to us about the coming up event that you have for the last.
The trauma yoga and anxiety and depression workshop, which
that sounds beautiful.
I'm excited. Deanna Elaine, she will be the yoga aspect of it all, which I can't wait. I'm all for that. And Miss Alicia, I just met her the other day. She will be coming in and giving the ladies some tips and tools on how to manage their anxiety and depression. Okay. Nice. Right. So I'm excited about that because mental health is very real. And for some reason in the Black community, we like
shame. It's shame. It's a lot. It has a lot to do with shame, and it has a lot to do with the fact that the eldest turned it into like coming out of slavery. Like let's think about it for a second before we even get into the whole coming over here as a translated slave trade. African people by nature are very secretive, right? That's how we managed to keep Black Africa for a long time. And then bringing that culture and that way of life over here, and you had to be secretive if you wanted to get free, right? because you don't know who you can trust, and they made sure that we couldn't trust one another. So we have that throw it into something else. Now it's just we are secretive in the wrong way, and it's a lot of shame, a lot of stigma. People don't want to talk about it.
Right. And I think also has to do with the fact that we've had to be strong for so long. That if you show a sign of weakness, whether it's physical or mental or emotional weakness, you are less than what you are supposed to be. Especially our women, because we got labeled as strong and independent and superwoman. And then our men, if they cry for a second or they ask for help, then you're not no man. I don't need you if I can do it by myself type thing. So it's like we're fighting each other when we're hurting ourselves. So it's like we're not even recognizing how it's a circle.
And it is a circle as a catch-22 because not allowing them to be vulnerable and have their moment to get past their pain, they can't be there for us. Right. So we kind of make our own bed.
Right. And I learned that within our relationships alone because it's like, what is wrong with you? Why can't you show no emotion? Like, and it's nothing but that trauma. You know what I'm saying? That trauma that, oh, I have to be strong. I can't show no weakness.
Right.
Or I can't cry because I was talking to one of my friends and he told me, I never cried. What do you mean you never cried? You experienced so much trauma and you mean to tell me you never cried? I said, crying is not weak. That actually, it takes strength. It takes strength. He told me, he said, I never knew that. Right. So it's like, what are we actually instilling into our children?
Say it. Say it.
What are we instilling to our children? Because I know me personally, I have 2 boys, and it's kind of hard for me to be like, stop crying. I have to catch myself sometimes and be like, okay, let it out. Express yourself. Because I don't want them to grow up and be that man that
hard thug.
Yes, that can't express himself
all the time.
Right. And we have to understand human nature.
Hey Chuck, how you doing?
If we don't express it in one area, it's gonna come out somewhere else. So why even, why create a problem that we don't have to?
Right.
We have enough battles to fight. Why make another battle?
Right.
And that's exactly why the community needs a safe space, a safe haven for females to go to, where we can let our hair down, where we could take them heels off, and where we could take our cape off.
That's exactly.
So take that mask off. We don't have to be the concrete rolls. We can be soft,
right?
Especially with one another, because Black women, we have a bad habit of tearing each other down.
We do.
So it's like, I need to build you up, sis. And I want to speak about that because I was on my way over here tonight, and a young lady walked past me in the street, and she was like, "You are beautiful." I was like, "Oh, me?" She was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Thank you, sis. You are beautiful too." And then we just started talking, and I was like, I appreciate that. And she was like, "No, I appreciate you because if I walk past somebody and I compliment them, then a lot of females think I'm trying to hit on them, or they just think I'm being funny about it." And I was like, "That's true." And we embrace that like it's something good, but that's not. It's not. You don't need to embrace these stereotypes of us like the resting bitch face. No, you need to have a resting positive face. Your face needs to be welcoming when you're in the street. I can understand you in the street, you want to mission, you got things to do and places to go, but at the same time, you never know what somebody is going through that is in the street. And they may just need that smile.
Right.
They just need you to be soft with them. So if we can be soft with one another, you are changing somebody's whole day. And then they're going to change somebody else's day. So if we have this resource in the community, this sister is hosting these events once a month, the last Sunday of every month. We need to utilize these services.
Absolutely.
Yes, we do.
Because not only are we benefiting from it, from going to these events, imagine how light we feel after the event and the person we're going to affect once we leave the event.
Yeah.
On my page, I asked how many people feel as though this is essential to the community. And so many Black women were like, I do. I feel this is needed. I would love to go. Well, here you go.
Hey.
Woman to woman, like her page.
Yes.
Let's show up at the events.
It's usually free, but because we are having the trauma yoga we had to do the actual fee, but it's usually free.
But at the same time,
Low cost.
people need paid for time.
Absolutely.
So services, it's a reasonable amount.
That's true.
Pay them for their time.
Absolutely.
If they're doing something beneficial for the community, because we'll pay to go to McDonald's to kill ourselves.
Girl.
Say it.
Let's pay to heal ourselves.
No, we'll go to the freaking bar and the club to go see Boozy. $50 tickets and things like that. But I'm just saying, you can get some quality information for you or your family member.
Mm-hmm.
And I guarantee, every time we have group and we leave out, everybody is leaving out with a smile. We leave so much lighter, refreshed, and ready for the month.
That's great. And thanks for tuning in, everybody. I see you, Sherelle. I see you, Bria. Thank you for watching. We do appreciate it. Make sure y'all do share.
Yes. So thank you, Larry.
Thank you. Thank you for coming on, because this is needed.
It is.
This is needed. We just went to the maternity viewing of
Black Maternal Week.
Yes, it is.
And we went to viewing. What was that? Tuesday?
Yep, it was Tuesday. And it was a documentary about the death mortality rates of Black women giving birth. And it's ridiculous.
It is.
But when you listen to the midwives and the Black midwives, the Black doulas, and the Black women, when they speak in this documentary, and no matter where they were from, whether they were from New York, whether they were from, what was the other place? I think it was like Houston, Texas.
Was it one from Atlanta?
Atlanta. They all came to the same consensus that we need to have a place where we feel safe amongst each other. Black women need to have a place where we're not stressed out, where we don't have to be on our P's and Q's. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So this gathering would be beneficial. This is like group therapy.
Yes, that's exactly what
it's group therapy.
That's exactly what it is.
When you go out with your sisters, you don't always have to go out for a drink.
No.
Even though I enjoy a drink here. I ain't say don't ever go out for a drink.
Right.
Shake your little tail feather. But, sometimes you also need to come out and do something that is beneficial to your body as a whole.
Absolutely. And I once saw a quote somewhere that said, when an African woman heals herself, she heals 5 generations before her and 5 generations after her.
Breaking those chains.
That is true. Because trauma can be genetic.
Well, it is genetic and science has proof that it's genetic because you carry all that in your cells. And you think about the fact that right now, like, I carried my daughter, right? But while I was carrying my daughter, I was inside of my mother with my sisters and my brothers, and my mother was in her mother, and her mother, and her mother, and her mother. And so we all experienced the same thing she experienced at the same time. We just were not in this form.
We just gave goosebumps, girl.
That's true.
So we have to be mindful of the things that we do, because we literally are affecting generations right now. Like I tell my daughter, do you know why there's sometimes I could say something to you that affects you so well? Because your cells are my cells. So when I speak to you, I speak to myself. We have to understand, like, when we see one another, we are really seeing each other. Yes. We are seeing ourselves.
Reflection.
Yes.
There you go. That's exactly what it is. Okay, you know what I want to ask you? What brought on the title Woman to Woman? And your logo. Like the lady as a flower with the afro.
Pouring into yourself.
Yes! I was like,
you have to pour into yourself. You have to. It's all about self-love. Woman to Woman, I actually came up with it because it's just like, well, I want women to come together and talk. So it's just like, let's just talk woman to woman. And it just was like, okay, woman to woman. And that's just what it was.
Right.
Woman to woman. It was going to be sister. Woman to woman is just a little bit.
I like woman to woman better.
A little bit more catchier. And the logo, it speaks for itself.
It definitely does.
It does.
Let it go and let it grow.
Let it go and let it grow.
I love that. I love that.
And it's just a reminder for myself that I have to pour into myself before I can pour into anybody else's cup. Mm-hmm.
It's so funny because I had a dream a couple months back. A really good friend of mine. She's like involved in so many things, and she's always so busy. And I felt she just was so stressed out, so stressed out. And the ancestor came to me and gave me a dream and told me to tell her what is in the cup belongs to her.
Right.
It is the overflow that she can give away.
Mm-hmm.
But she can't give nothing away until she overflows.
Right. Absolutely. Because we all go through that between significant others, children, jobs. We gotta.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Pour that cup.
And my grandma tried to teach me that lesson when I was young, but I didn't understand what she meant. She said to me when I was young, take care of yourself, because no one is going to take care of you if you don't take care of yourself.
That's true. And if you ain't here, ain't nobody going to be able to tend to everything that you're trying to tend to anyway.
And they can't tend to it like you anyway.
Hello. And that's the truth. Because I hate telling baby to do something and then I go around and do it right after.
I swear. You know how it is. You know how it is.
He's like, well, you should have told me in the first place. You know what? I really shouldn't have. Let's just move out the way. There's just some things that women just do best. Yes. There you go.
Yes.
So now to put everybody on the spot, Miss Jessica.
Oh. Yes.
What does self-care look like with you?
Ooh, self-care is so deep and so varied. And I think it will look a little different for everybody. But for me personally, my self-care day, I wake up in the morning and I have tea and checkers with my daughter every morning. But before I do that, I get up and I really have to commune with my creator. Like, I really need to be in touch with my creator. I need to make sure that we are where we're supposed to be, right? Because we're supposed to have our own, I feel like, personal walk, right? And after that happens, and I need to check in with my body, is everybody functioning the way it's supposed to function? Is everybody okay? Does something not feel right? Is something, and then how do I repair that? And then go on from there. Because I feel like a lot of people feel like self-care is the same thing as pampering themselves. And it's not.
Mm-hmm.
At least
touch on it.
It's not the same thing. Like, people feel like, oh, okay, well, I went and I got my nails done, I got my hair done, and I feel good. But
what about this?
Exactly. Like, if I'm not okay in here and I'm grumpy and I feel uncomfortable and I'm angry, and I actually went through this in the beginning of my marriage, where for whatever reason, I don't know what it was. At the time, I didn't know what it was. When I woke up every morning, I was just mad. I was just pissed about everything. And before the man even opened his eyes, I just was ready to choke down his throat. I was just mad, right? And it was because I was fearful. I was so afraid to love this man because every time I've ever given my heart to somebody, they've always done me wrong, right? And so it was like, I had to get to the point where it's like, listen, this man gave you his last name. He put a ring on your finger. You have to go with that. And if it doesn't work, enjoy the time that you had while it was. I had to get to that headspace. So I would go by my day all the time and could have my hair decked out and my earrings on and my fly shoes ever, because I'm a heel kind of girl, but I didn't feel okay inside of myself. Right? And I had to take care of that. And this man would be like, he's always asking me, I'm like, you didn't want to get married. You just was playing me because you just always mad. You can never be satisfied, right? So, like, now, as I have grown in my marriage, my life has gotten a lot easier with my husband. And we don't have, everybody has arguments and, disagreements here and there, but we have them less because I began to allow myself to grow. I got this book, somebody recommended to me called, I can't even say the name right now. It comes back to me. It was written by a woman named Queen Afua.
Ooh, Sacred Woman?
Yes. Sacred
Woman.
Yes. And I just began to change the way that I eat and just began to, look at life differently and to get in tune with myself and to realize, like, for all the years I was a single mom, I was just pouring into my kids, pouring into my family, and there was nobody to refill that cup because I wasn't replenishing the cup because I was always giving all that I had to everybody else. And that left me empty and frustrated and frazzled and depressed, right? And so angry because it's like, why do I have to do all this by myself? This is not fair, right? So, but once I got that book and I began to look at things differently, I was like, okay, I don't have to live like this. I don't have to live like this. Oh, this is not life. This is not living. This is surviving.
And you know, that is so great that you mentioned that, because it was last week when I spoke to Jane and I had came to that same realization. I was like, for real, I feel like most of my adult life, well, even growing up as a child, I couldn't be who I wanted to be. It's because people have expectations on who you are supposed to be.
Yeah.
And then now you have to live your life according to how people expect you to behave and how they expect you to treat them, whereas they ain't treating you in the same manner. But you still have this persona that you have to wear. It's not you, but it's because people said this is who you are going to be, this is who you're going to be. And last week I was like, this isn't Ayana. And I want to know why I'm always constantly battling and I'm always in and out of depression and I feel like a stranger because I am. This isn't me. I was like, you know, if I had it my way, I'm such a carefree person, but I can't be that way around people. Because when it's like the way I want to act, it's like, oh, you know, most Black typical women don't act like that. But it's like, you know, so what? Leave me alone. Even when it comes to certain little things, like, for example, with my mother, and she is a crazy person. Okay. And she cleans up. She, like, has OCD. And, like, for real.
Yeah.
And I'm not like that. As long as my house is clean, like, straightened up, I'll leave toys on the floor. I will leave dishes in the sink. And I'm okay with that because I feel like my time should be for my children.
Right.
So as long as there's no odor, there ain't no roaches in my house, I'm good. I can clean the dishes later.
Right.
But the dishes is proof that my children ate.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If I can care for what I think is priority for me, then I'm okay with that. And I had to accept that. Like, I'm rushing around trying to do these things because I want people to look at me a certain way. And then now, at the right page of 29, it's like, oh, okay, Yana, just leave all that alone. Drop it and be who you are. And it's okay.
Right.
And that realization from me while I was at work, and I told my man, I was like, even with you, I'm not who I want to be with you. I'm who I think a wife should be. And it's a hindrance on our relationship because I always feel awkward because honestly, I don't know what's supposed to come next. I'm trying to figure it out, but I'm not allowing my true self to figure it out. And that was a breakthrough.
Yeah.
That was a breakthrough. And I think the sooner we realize every Black woman doesn't have to be the same. You don't have to be the same as the person who raised you. You don't have to be the same as your sister. You don't have to look at these pictures and take on their qualities to be seen as a respectful, dignified person.
Right.
Because we're individuals for a reason.
Absolutely.
And it feels so much better for me to just walk in my shoes and be like, fuck it, I'm doing what yes, because I'm doing what I want to do. And if what you want to do doesn't get done because I didn't do it, then oh well. Like, and that for itself, that was self-care for me. Because like you said, for so long, I brought into the facade that self-care was taking time out and going and get your feet done. And I would do that and still feel aggravated because I'm like, damn, I could have kept that $30. Right. For real. So now I'm guilty.
Feel bad. Right.
I feel so bad that I took self-care because it wasn't really self-care.
Right.
But then when I sit down and I have these 5-hour conversations with my sister, I'm like, okay, that's self-care.
Right.
That makes me feel better.
Right.
It doesn't take a lot. When I'm able to sit down with my daughters and read them a book and they pay attention, that makes me feel good mentally and emotionally. It's not a temporary fix. And self-care should not be a Band-Aid over a wound.
No.
Yes. That's my self-care.
That's right. And just to validate you real quick, my grandmother told me when I had my son, she said, because my grandmother was like your mom. OCD, like over the top, because her grandmother was a slave. So she had OCD. She'd walk around the house with white gloves. So that just became inbred in my grandmother. She had OCD so bad. And when my son was 2 years old, she came to me. She said, "Listen to me. The kids don't care if you starch them curtains.
For real.
They don't care if you make a 4-course breakfast. They want to go to the park on Saturday and have ice cream. Because they're going to remember when Mr. Parker had ice cream. That's what they want to remember. That's what they need right now. They don't care about the curtains.
And they don't respect the curtains neither. Trifling little kids.
Okay.
No, why my son just knocked mine down?
Oh my God.
Listen, we're boys, girl. You're going to play some curtains every day. Get you some curtains that's cheap, $2 that you don't care about. Because
between the cat and the freaking boys, I don't know. I don't even know.
Oh, goodness.
Men is just disrespectful to households, okay? So they get to a certain age, they just need help. Lord Jesus bless them.
I agree. My self-care. My self-care for me is meditation. It's very, very important for me to meditate daily. And if it's a rough day, I need to do it at least twice a day because that's my quiet time for me, the spirit and to get the knowledge and where I need to go next, what my next move is going to be. And I promise you, when I do, I can tell the difference when I meditate and when I don't. Because it's like, things just, nothing phases me. Nothing. You can say whatever you want to say, and I'm like, whatever. The kids could be screaming like, I just may not yell at them because I'm just so centered. Just like, And I also have to say sacred path. Woo! Me being an empath, I have to get that energy.
Yes.
I have to get that energy off. I have to. I have to protect myself because I know I take on a lot of people's emotions and feelings, and it could be draining because it's like, why am I feeling sad? I was just happy. This ain't me. Is it? That's my friend I was just talking to. I just took all her anger, her sadness, and I gave her all my happiness and joy, and now I need to go detox all of that out. So those are very important to me. I will also have to say I like to read. I did read Secret Woman. I did not finish it yet because it's just so freaking.
I had to go through it 3 times, and I'm going to go back through it again. Yeah.
I think I need to go through it once.
You got to get this book.
You have to because it is very, very important. And she did her thing with that book. It was to the point that I was crying.
Yes.
I was crying, honestly. And I put the book down because I just wasn't ready. Because that's something that, spiritually is taking you to a whole nother level. You know what I'm saying? And it's something that you have to be ready for, spiritually.
And I feel like it's one of those things like when you read it, it's kind of like, it's kind of like learning math, right? You're in kindergarten and you learn 1 + 1 is 2. You're going to get to division, but you ain't ready yet. You got to learn some other stuff. Sacred Woman is like that. Like you get to the first couple chapters, like, okay, I can digest this. But if you get further, like, this is kind of meaty. I gotta wait. I'm not ready for that. Right. I'm not ready for that. It's heavy.
It is.
It's heavy, but it's beautiful because I'm telling you, like when you begin to put things into play in your life, like this heaviness, the burdens of things that you realize that are not even your own issues, like that you realize that you carry. There's no way.
Maybe we need to have like a Facebook book club where us sisters just read Sacred Woman and then dissect it individually into a group. And like, this is what I got from this section.
In the book. They actually recommend that, get a sister group.
Yeah.
And
the sister circle. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I love it. I just, maybe, you know what? Maybe if I did have, sisters with me to actually get through it and be like, no, Chanel, keep pushing through it, get through that shadow work, then maybe.
Healing yourself is like birthing a child. Literally. You, like, when you go through Sacred Woman, you feel like stages of labor. And some of them say the labors is hard. Some of them is hard. So you're like, I can't do this. I can't. I got the.
So you need that doula
The doula.
to get you through the book.
Yeah.
Okay, so we need to create a group for book doulas.
There's another good book by Ayana Vincent.
Ayala.
It's called One Day My Soul Opened Up.
You know, a lot of people have been recommending her, and I think I need to give her a try.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She's good.
It's a good book. It's a good book. It's about 21 days. It's something like Sacred Woman. She has her affirmations. She has her morning, what she wants you to do in the morning, and things that you need to do in the evening. It also has journal entries, so you can go back and reflect. And I can honestly say it was a little bit easier than Sacred Woman, because Sacred Woman was like, woo! Mm-hmm. So I was able to get through this one because it was more so like, all right, she ain't making me like pull out them. Skeletons.
Yeah. Our closet can stay closed for now.
Yeah, it's a little bit, but I highly, highly, highly recommend that book. I think it's a great book. And I actually want, like you said, a book club. I want to introduce it to the ladies and women, because I honestly believe that they will learn a lot from that book. Because that's where I'm getting a lot of my information from, along with, me studying psychology and just doing my own research, and it just goes hand in hand. I highly recommend that book. If you're looking for any book, I highly recommend that book.
I want to look that up. I wanted to ask you a question. When you began doing yoga, how did that feel? And the reason why I bring that up is because I started working out a couple months ago, right? And I kind of wanted to get my flexibility back, because at one point I was very, very flexible. So I wanted to begin working on my flexibility. And so I began doing these stretches. And I learned something that kind of like, it makes so much sense now that I've read Sacred Woman and stuff like that, but I didn't think about it till it happened to me. There was this one stretch. The first time I ever did it, I got so angry. And I realized because I hold emotions in my body in certain places.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And when I went into the stretch, I became like highly aggravated. And I was like, oh, I was just happy a second ago. And now I was like on level 20. So I wanted to ask you how yoga was for you.
Yoga, it makes me very calm, actually. It brings me back to center like meditation, and it just makes me stay aware of my body, of what I can do and what I can't do. And just to be mindful, not to, be hard on myself. Because I want to do a handstand and all that type of thing, but I'm a newbie. You can't just, girl, I tried it and I failed. Like you said, I was frustrated, and I was like, well, it looked easy, but it ain't easy. So to me, it's a mental thing. I enjoy it. It's a mental, it brings me, like I said, back to that center. And it usually makes me very, very happy.
Yeah.
Even yoga with the kids. My boys actually enjoy yoga. That could be a little frustrating. Loud. And I want to be peaceful.
Yeah, I'm about to say, are they not even knocking you over when you're trying to do your stretches?
No, they are. They are, but they enjoy it. Yeah. And I see the difference with them, especially my youngest, because he's very boisterous and it's like, I'm going to say what I want to do, what I want. And it's just like, oh, yeah, you need to do some yoga so you can, like, calm down. Calm down. Break it down. Kids, actually, and to say this, my son, he got into the meditation pose. He's like, Mom, look. I'm like, what you doing? He said, you want to be a master? This is what masters do.
I know that's right, baby.
You're 5. How do you know this?
Because kids in tune with the Ori, honey.
And
they ain't lost that connection.
Right. And it reminded me, I was like, you know what, son? Hold that thought. I went in my room and I went to go meditate because at that moment I was frustrated with my math homework. Then I said, forget this. I'm going to just put this on pause and go in their room and, mess around with them. And he just like, Mom, you want to be a master? I went in there, I meditated, went back to work. I got it. I got it. But that my child needed to bring me back.
Yeah.
See, what we fail to understand is motherhood ain't about the children. It's about us. They are our teachers, not us theirs.
Oh, you can't get something. You're right. You're right. Because my children are teaching me because they're very touchy.
Yes.
And because I was molested, I'm like very.
Yeah.
So they're teaching me to embrace that because they're like, oh no, give me all the hugs, give me all the kisses. Yes, and I'm just like, okay. Like, so that's something that I know that they're teaching me. Like, Mom, open up, loosen up.
It's okay.
It's okay. Like you said, it's okay.
Yeah, that's true. Like I was saying earlier, it's like you have to learn how to accept certain things when your children are making you confront it.
Yeah.
Like I was saying, I'm not very feminine, and look at me with all these girls. So once I start embracing that part of me, it might be an easier journey for me to be a mother of 4 girls. Because it's like, I'm not the one to sit down and want to do nails and playing hair and all of that extra stuff. Just leave me alone. But with girls, you can't. Like you said, my girls is all in your face, sitting on your lap, giving you kisses, and 4 o'clock in the morning, nobody brush their teeth, and they just want to talk. It's like, I gotta show you love. And they're bringing me out of my comfort zone. It's like, that's why children are birthed to the parents that they are birthed to.
Yeah.
Because they are on a mission. And they're here for a reason. It's like, y'all doing your job.
Yeah.
Y'all are. And with that being said, do y'all feel like when you are doing your self-care, or even when you're developing as yourself and you're growing as yourself, do you introduce your journey to your children? Because I know with Malaya, once I started realizing as an individual, I need to keep a journal, or I need to reflect at the end of the day. I've noticed certain things I've introduced her to and brought her along the journey with me. And I got her a journal. And I was like, this is what you need to do when you find yourself frustrated or you find yourself needing to have quiet time. Just write in your journal.
Yeah.
Because this is a path that if you learn early in life,
right.
you won't have to wait until you have like a midlife crisis.
Right.
Because I'm preparing you with the tools now to get through that frustration.
Well, for me, I do. So I have 2 kind of exercises I do. One, when all of my children got to be a certain age, and I do it on and off with them periodically as I see that they need it, I have them go sit with the mirror and to look and to say, who is it that you see? Like, really look into your eyes and get to know yourself, right? Because I want to give a woman credit. I can't think of her name right now. Felicia Rashad, I think is her name. Okay. There was a quote she said a long time ago that I had my children say every day. The inner reality creates the outer form. The universe bears no ill will to me, so I bear no ill will to it. I have them say this every day. So I had my children do the mirror exercise. And then also I had my children learn how to sit with themselves. And like when I got married, I took the morning to myself because I really needed to be. Some of the African traditions that survived in my family, I completed that coursework the week before my wedding. But I still wanted to be absolutely sure that I should get married. So I took the morning to myself and I sat in my room and I sat down with my grandmother and my aunt who was deceased. And I really needed to have a conversation with them and my husband's grandparents because I really needed to know from the mothers, like, did y'all really come for us to come together to bond this family? Like, I really needed to have that conversation with them. And I only allowed my photographer to be in the room at the time when I'm having this conversation with them because I wanted her to capture the moment for my daughter. And then I bound it in a book for her that I will give to her on the eve of her wedding.
You gonna make me start crying.
Because I need her to understand. My grandmother began to heal our family without even knowing it. Like, when my grandmother could admit that she had made mistakes and she allowed me to know that as a child, it gave me the courage to say, I messed up. I can fix that. And or I see a problem in our family, I can correct that. You know what I mean? And I want that to continue with my daughter. Because if my daughter can also be a mistake catcher, as I call it, or, you know, a problem corrector, then one day she will birth a daughter that never has to do that. Right. Because they will have been changed. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's something that I did for my children and I do for my children. I think it's been harder for me sharing my journey with my son because he is male. So it's like self-care and a healing journey may look different for him. Mm-hmm. You know, so I'm always encouraging the men around him to partake in that so that he has that example at some point. But I do share with him as I go throughout my journey, just so he knows, like, it doesn't have to be just a woman thing. You know what I mean? So whether he will get that masculine example in his lifetime, I don't know. But I can continue to show him what I do. You know what I mean?
So your family had your own little woman-to-woman section.
Yeah, we did. That was beautiful. My grandmother, I tell you no lie, like, look back over my life and really see how the creator and the ancestors really give me breadcrumbs, I call them, like, through my life. And I realized my spirit chose the form that it did because those breadcrumbs were present, right? Realizing that all these women down through the line, just to be able to, like, I only have a piece, you know, here's a puzzle, mm-hmm. right? I have a piece, here's a piece, but we need you to connect them. So you're going to be the connector, but we'll give you the pieces, mm-hmm. right? And as I'm, like, weaving this garment back together to make it whole, you know what I mean? I see how these women have taught me so many things, and it's like, okay, that's culture. Mm-hmm. Put that in there. That's culture. Mm-hmm. Put that in there. That's culture. Put that in there. But not realizing they all had the answer, but it was just broken.
And that's beautiful. Mm-hmm. And that's another reason why we need to be thankful for having a community, mm-hmm. woman to woman, a group to come to where we can share right. our mm-hmm. cultures and we can share the understanding of what my heritage is and my background and my traditions and my family is. Yes. And I'll be able to pass that along to you. Mm-hmm. So now you've embraced that and now you found something that you can implement in what you do with your children. Mm-hmm. And I can, you know, we can take something from everybody and start our own family traditions. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Just being with sisters is so empowering. Mm-hmm. And it's like when we were younger, at least I would, like, can't stand being around females. They so patty. It's just so much easier for me to deal with men. Yeah. So I was in a, you know, with a bunch of boys, and I was like, I can deal with this because females just wasn't my thing. Like, y'all get on my nerves. Mm-hmm. In high school, y'all do too much. You do too much, sis. Like, I don't even got time for the drama. But as a grown woman, you need a solid group of female friends. Mm-hmm. You really do. You need to be around that. Mm-hmm. And if it can be with productive black women,
I would just give
then why not?
Because everybody brings something to the table.
Yes.
Everybody. Literally. Everybody. Some of the women that I met, one's a writer, Maria, my sister-in-law. She's phenomenal at organizing. She can come in and organize your whole house, which that's something that I struggle with, but she's great at. Mm-hmm. Yeah, people like my older cousin, she's great at writing grants and business proposals and things like that. So it's like, not only is this a group, but we also here to become networking and becoming, our best selves and help watching each other grow and become what we want to become.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
Oh, don't do it.
Let it happen. Look, she had me messed up. She had me messed up.
Y'all ain't see you over there. And I was like, I ain't gonna look at my eyes. We ain't doing that today. Everybody gonna be inside. I know. But that's beautiful. It's beautiful because, that's needed. Mm-hmm. And then if you're with a bunch of women and you feel comfortable enough to even express that,
right? Because the group is not for everyone. Everybody's not going to like my vibe, and I'm not going to like everybody's vibe.
Right.
So it's like, when the ladies do come, it's like, it's either you fit in or you don't. And it's totally okay with me because I'm all about tribe, attracting my tribe. Mm-hmm. That is really like my goal for 2019. It's like, I want
my sisters. I want my friends. You know, I want that because I, like you said, I was that high school over being females. So they're probably like, she wants some woman empowerment. Right? She's trying to knock everybody's head off. But that's a part of my story.
Yes.
It is embrace it. We gotta embrace it. And now that I'm older, it's like, no, I want that. I want those. I want to take that girl trip. Let's take this retreat.
Right.
Let's take this retreat, this healing retreat, and let's just go all in.
But that's the blessing that you can come back full circle and say, this is where I was. That's where I am, because there's some people who can't say that.
Right.
There's some people who still have that mentality like, I can't do it. You know what I mean? And they're missing out.
Yes.
So,
they really
so
are.
much. Because I want to know, there's been plenty of times except for like, Seth, let me tell you something, okay? I'm going to need you. Like, do you have time? Because I'm telling you, I really need you.
I mean, I'm still selective on, some of the women I deal with because there's just some energy.
You have to be selective.
That I'm just not
you let in your personal space. Yes.
And everybody's not accountable. I have found in life that people don't want to heal themselves, but they want to take your healing from you. Yes. They're like black holes. They will suck all of the happiness and joy that you have, and they will smile on your face and tell you like, oh, I sure did read that book, and I ate my sandwich and drank my cucumber water. And listen, at the end of the day, they're not even trying. Right. They don't even care to. Right. But like you have to look at life, right? So you have all these people who are healing themselves, right? You have the rhythm, and it's moving, and all these people who want that rhythm, they're going to be attracted to like a magnet, and you have to learn how to deflect it.
And that's true. We have to also learn, which is something I learned on my journey, that is not my job to help everybody grow. It's not. It's not my job. Now, if you're on your own journey and I'm on my journey, and we can go on the journey together, then by all means. But I'm not carrying you on my back. Right. So if you can't walk, then you ain't going on no journey. Exactly. Because I can't.
Black women, I'm going to say this for everybody. I'm going to say it today. We ain't got to be Superman for nobody. Yes. You are not required to cape for everybody. Right. We got to stop caping for people. Because the whole time we caping for people, we killing ourselves.
Yes. The draining us of our energy. And it's like, I need balance. I need a give and take.
Yes. We can help those who want to help themselves. That's right. But I cannot force you to be anything other than what you are. That's right. And that's for our sisters. That's for our men. Like, we need to stop choosing losing battles. Right. For what? I have nothing to prove to nobody.
They're not even really battles for when you think about them. They're just distractions, as I call them. There's like, right, this is the path of life that you're supposed to take, right? And it's got all these twists and turns and valleys and stuff, and along the way there's all these distractions. And as you're walking your journey, you can see people who are getting distracted by the distractions. And will you get distracted by the distractions, or will you just keep on walking your path? You know what I mean?
Gotta stay focused. Because there's definitely going to be, like you said, there's distractions on the road. That's what they are there for. Exactly. To see, are you really going to stay focused?
Are you really about this life?
Right. Let me send you this man. Let's see if you can.
Let me
send you this narcissist.
How focused you is. Right. I'm telling you, I look back over my teenage years, and every time I was on the path to do something to get to know myself better, here comes this fine looking something. Girl, you were like, oh Lord, distracted again. And then a year or 2 years later, you were like, dang, I should have done that.
Right? But you know what? I'm learning that they're all lessons.
They are.
If you really sit back and think about the relationships, the friendships, right, you can really learn a lesson from it.
Yes, you can.
Like my last one was self-love. I'm like, why can't he love me? I gave him so much. I gave him all of me. And then it ding, like ding, ding, ding. Yeah, you gave him all of you. You're never supposed to give someone all of you. No. There has to be a balance.
And the way you treat yourself is how people are going to treat you.
Absolutely.
So if you giving him all of you, why should he give you any of him?
Girl.
So I was like, okay, sis, keep giving me all of you, and I'm going to keep taking you, and I'm going over here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So yes, we have to definitely.
Absolutely. And like, just like the universe will prepare, as we say, like we were talking about how we're, preparing our sons to be husbands. The universe will prepare you as a woman to be a wife. Because when I look back over all my relationships, I can say like, the universe was preparing me to be able to appreciate my husband. Because had I met my husband in my younger years, because when you were young and having the upbringing that I had, my mother, created this box, this vortex where we were just so sheltered and protected. Like, so I lived my life like that for such a long time. I was very self-absorbed. It wasn't in the book. I didn't pay no attention to it. You know what I mean? And had I have met my husband then, it would have listen.
If I would have met Gene when I was young, I would have just chewed him up to the mouth. But now I appreciate my babe. Right.
Well, when I learned that, come, I'm working on it.
I know that's right.
Working on it.
I know that's right. And when you ready, there he'll be.
I'm telling you.
You
know when it happens?
He'll be prepared.
It's after all. I tell this all the time. It's so funny. I'm sorry, my husband's watching this. He's gonna be so mad. But anyway, it's when you don't want a man, when you got that place like, I'm healing myself, I'm good. If it happens, fine. If it doesn't, I'm gonna be okay. I'm happy where I am. Just when you least expect, that's gonna happen. So when I met my husband, I didn't like that man. Didn't like him. Didn't care for him. Was just like, not gonna get me today. Not today.
When you say not today, I feel like it's
he got you.
Listen.
Really, because like you said, I've got a trainer. My booty about to get fatter. Stomach about to get fatter. Credit card up, and I'm saying, I can't. Oh, I'm gonna try not to act up this summer, y'all. I'm gonna try. Try not to act bad.
Yeah, that smile ain't saying that.
I know, but it's just like from a year ago to now, it's just like I'm at a whole different mind frame. Mm-hmm. Like, I know this is nothing but queen. It's nothing. I'm not selling for nothing less than what I deserve.
Yeah. And the universe is just waiting for you to get that standard. As soon as you set the standard, they'll be like, I've been had something to meet the standard.
Right.
But you ain't had the standard, baby. And I couldn't let you accept nothing less than the standard.
Yeah, right. Yeah. They got to prepare you to get to where you need to be so you can find what you need in your life. Right. And that is, man, this is all we need, sister to sister, to have these conversations, because for real, a lot of us don't understand what it is to be a wife. A lot of us don't understand what it is to be a mother. And to go on those journeys by yourself is very difficult. So if I can sit down with somebody who I look up to and value their advice, and I'm like, you're a great wife, I need to know how you do that. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Watching videos and reading books and all of this outside noise is not necessarily so. Mm-hmm. But if I can have somebody tell me, this is my reality, sis, and this is what you need to do to take care of your household, I'm going to appreciate that a whole lot more. Mm-hmm. So going to these woman-on-woman events and having sisters to speak to and seeing that they are proof. Right. You know what I'm saying? They're not living this facade on Facebook where they're coming on and they're saying, oh, I'm doing all of this. And then once they log, oh, the reality is completely different. Right. I can hold you accountable. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's what we need.
And we need those real experiences to be able to say, like, I know, listen, we ain't getting, today I was so mean to my husband, or today, like, he was getting on my nerves. Like, we need, African people really need to see that real dichotomy, because a lot of times, just with the nature of how life is right now, we see what happens on TV and social media, like you said, and we have an unrealistic picture of what a relationship is supposed to look like. And then when we get into it, everybody, this is like the next thing that's like irking me to like my soul is this whole toxic relationship, toxic masculinity, toxic femininity. Like, listen, if the man left his shoes by the door untied and you're mad because you want them by the couch and you want to break up with him because you feel like he's toxic because his shoes is by the door, your problem. Yeah. But so many people just feel like, oh, because we're not 100% compatible, or he don't do it exactly what I want him to do. Now we're just breaking up because that was toxic. I'm living my best life. I'm single, y'all, because that was toxic. No, honey, sit all the way down.
Right.
You have a personality issue because you want to be controlling.
Right.
You know,
and we need sisters to tell us that,
Mm-hmm.
to check us. Like, you know what, honey, I'm gonna need you to get your life together because you is creating problems that is not needed in our relationship. If you don't pick them damn shoes up,
Right,
and put them to where they need to be and leave that man alone,
Mm-hmm.
we need that.
Because I was telling her a couple weeks ago, I was telling her about this time. My biggest pet peeve is I have a sitting room in my house, right? And I love to read. I'm a bookworm, and I have all of my little library books in there, and I sit in there reading. That's my space. Nobody's allowed in there without invitation, right? That's my womanly space. But my husband has the audacity every day when he comes home from work that he lays that jacket on my couch, right? And one day I pulled out my phone calling Iona like, we're getting divorced. Ooh. So, I don't know if my name now. We're getting a divorce because I'm telling you, this man is putting his coat on my couch and I can't take it. And this is what is wrong with every part of my relationship. I'm out of here. And Iona was like, pump your brakes.
Slow down.
What are you talking about?
right.
Because
Something else is
I'm
about
telling
it.
you, that whole jacket was the problem to everything. And I could free every African person if I could get that man's jacket off my couch. I found the secret to life in that jacket. And Iona was like, I'm going to need you to get a drink. Find a seat.
Mm-hmm.
We need to talk.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm telling you, but you be needing that. You need that, like, person like, come back, baby.
Right,
come
yeah.
back. Bring it in.
Bring
Bring
it
it
to
in.
reality.
Don't go across the street. That's like me and my cousin. She like, Chanel, you better get back across this street. You better not start tripping. And she's older than me. She's 43. I'm only 28. So she's been married. She was married for 16 years. So she was teaching me a lot of the game. Whew. Like you said, she would tell me like, girl, you need to get back across the street.
Mm-hmm.
You better not start walking.
Yeah, I love that. I love that analogy. Yes.
I know that's right.
And how about
Yes.
that? Your sex? 28, 29, and
Oh, okay.
that's beautiful. Look at that 3.
Yeah,
This is so
good.
beautiful.
Ooh.
That's beautiful.
Well, we're wrapping up tonight's show. I wanted to
Yeah.
ask you, being that the Birth and Hut is a platform where we provide resources, we highlight businesses in the community that are for women. Is there any particular business owner, entrepreneur that is a service to our woman that you would like to highlight on the show?
Yes. Dorisa King.
Okay.
The Yoni Steam.
The Yoni Steam.
Yes.
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 What is it, 412 Steam?
Yoni. No, I think it's Yoni Steam 412.
Yes, there you go. I need to go. We were supposed to have the last month's
May.
meeting. Yes, okay.
That would be May.
Okay.
Oh, I know. But I just felt, it was
a lot going on.
a whole lot going on. Me totaling my car, and I just felt like, okay, Spirit just saying, be still.
Mm-hmm.
Just be still. Just wait until April, because now it's just going to be even bigger.
Yeah.
Even better. Gives you more time to, dot the I's and cross the T's. But Dorisa, yes, absolutely.
Dorisa King.
Oh, Dorisa King.
Okay, Yanni Steam 412.
Ladies, if y'all have not been only steaming, please. Please, have you ever?
I have not. That's why I was going to come to the event. I was like, I need to get all this corrected. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
May.
Yes.
May.
Have you experienced it?
Yes. I've done it multiple times, but the one with Dorisa, oh my goodness. It was like so powerful. Once I got up, it's just like I got up, went to the bathroom, and I changed, and I came back, and it just was like, I felt brand new. I felt like I was floating on air. My womb was literally like, had butterflies. If she was dancing, because like in Sacred Woman, you get in tune with your womb. She was talking, and she was like, I'm happy. Whatever it is that you just gave me, she was very, very happy. And from the affirmations to, the specific blend for you, okay, I highly I commend it.
And that is going to be your May woman to woman event.
May.
Okay. So maybe we can go.
Yes.
Bring Buffy along. Make this a whole woman event. I would.
We need to do this.
Okay.
Ladies. Woo. Promise you, y'all gonna be like, woo. Like you, woo.
I need that though. I need that because our womb holds so much.
Mm-hmm.
It holds so much of our anger, trauma, depression, and we don't realize it.
Mm-hmm.
We claim that a lot of our stress is on our shoulders or on our lower back, but we never really understand that majority of it is right here in our womb being toxic to our body.
You know what you should do? Sorry not to cut you off. When it's coming up for your next cycle, you need to say to your womb, what is it that you're holding that you haven't let go? I give you permission to release it. Telling you your cycle will be different. You
know what? Don't even jinx me like that. Because I'm still breastfeeding and this cycle has not come back yet.
Excuse me?
So, Mother Nature is not knocking on my door.
What you said? No.
My baby being 1 next month. I am loving
it. Look at this lucky duck over here. But I'm telling you, like, it really changes you. Like, ever since I started using natural items for my cycle, my period has been wonderful. But then when I started, getting up in the morning and really getting in touch with my body, I've been beginning to notice that there was something in my womb. And I said to her, like, you could just release it. My very next cycle, talk about cramp. Cramp, clot. I mean, more clots than there was blood. Clotty.
I'm releasing it. Oh, yes. And talking about them natural products, because before I did get pregnant with Soleil and I transitioned to the Diva Cup, it does change your life. You feel the difference from using that toxic material to using something silicone.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay. And now I notice Target has the I forget the name of the natural pads they have, but it's just coming full circle in the universe. Mm-hmm. Everything is turning around in favor for us, so it's not even hard anymore. Mm-hmm. A lot of things are accessible for us to start taking care of our bodies. Mm-hmm. So you can't even use the excuses, I can't afford natural pads. Mm-hmm. They in Target. There's about 2-3 different brands. Mm-hmm. They even have the natural tampons now. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, this is our time. This is our time.
It is. I agree. They even have on a service where you can reorder so many every month and deliver them to your house. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Just like my units in I think women should really do it. Because I know me, I'll be incorporating that into my self-care at least twice a month. Because I know that, it's like creative. Everything is just telling you. I got off that pot and I just had so many ideas like, oh, you're going to do this, you're going to do this, you're going to do this. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? But it's because everything was just clear and it just was like,
well, we will. We will set the date. Take care of that. Mm-hmm. So that is going to be it for tonight's show, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. We do appreciate it. Again, let's welcome our special guest, Miss Chanel.
Thank you.
Do not forget that her woman-to-woman meetings are going to be
April 28th. And it's every last Sunday of the month.
How hard is that?
Right.
Where's the location?
It's changing. This one will be on the north side. Are you familiar with the old Menoker High School?
Look at all this.
Yeah, it's right over here on Perrysville Avenue. That's where we'll be heading it this month. But in May, we'll actually be going to Theresa's place.
Yes, and she has her herbal spa now, and she said that she has the first one in Pittsburgh. And so when I seen it on Facebook, I said, "Go ahead and get it, sis." Congratulations to you. The ancestors is giving you what is yours, and you are blessed. This is your time.
Yes, and that's exactly what I told her when I got that pot. I said, "Oh, I'm so honored to be in your presence and to even experience," because that's how I felt like, girl, what did you just do to me? like whatever. Like it was just.
And make sure y'all tune in every third Thursday of the month for the Birth and Hut podcast. We will make sure we do feature new information, provide you with community resources, as well as just be entertainment.
Yes.
It is always something new to discuss. It is always something to advocate for.
It is.
If you have questions or comments, feel free to inbox us. Let us know. We will discuss it on our next show. And that is it for tonight. I'm Ayana.
Peace.
Bye.
Good night.